Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided in part by Thurston Talk. Hello, my name is Andrea Capere, and you're watching Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our communities. Today, we're talking with Thurston County Salvation Army to learn more about their work locally. Joining us are Major Phyllis Pease, Corps Officer, Julie Pietz, the co-chair, and Judy Berg, historian. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Can you share with us the mission of the Salvation Army and maybe how it got started?
The mission of the Salvation Army here in Thurston County is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to share his love and by meeting human need in his name without discrimination. And the Salvation Army actually got started in London, England in 1865, and it got started first as a church, and then William and Catherine Booth, our founders, realized that the people that they were helping to minister to and save on the streets of London were not being welcomed into some of the churches back then in London. And so they began the Salvation Army Church, and it went from there.
And so why were they not being welcomed?
Because many of them were homeless, could not bathe regularly, they were hungry, not in their what might be considered Sunday best, so they were not treated very well. And in 1889, in August, the Salvation Army opened here in Olympia, and that is actually 3 months before Washington became a state.
That's fantastic. And so in that time, you've done some of your own work locally to Thurston County. Can you share what some of that's been?
Well, most recently, the past years, we work directly with Catholic Community Services and have a community kitchen that is open to everyone, serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the year, and we serve over 10,000 meals a year to anyone who comes into that kitchen. We also run an emergency lodge on our property where we house 40 individual single men and up to 8 single women. And then during our seasonal shelter, from November 1st to April 30th, we can house up to 30 more individuals to keep them out of the cold.
And that's interesting. You said 40 men and 8 women.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's especially interesting because it's difficult to find support services for homeless men.
Right. There seems to be much more of a need because there are many more homeless men in our community.
So I just want to go down the line here and talk about what each of your roles is in the Salvation Army. Can we start with you, Major?
Yes. My husband and I moved to Olympia just this past July, and I do mostly all of our church programming and women's programming, while my husband and our associate officer do many of the social service day-to-day programs, run those programs.
And what about you, Julie?
Well, I came in about 3 years ago looking for a home. I am retired and was looking for something else that I could do for the community. I have many, many years of working with a lot of organizations in several states. But Salvation Army, I decided I wanted to try and see if I could help. I've got some community skills, things that I thought that I could help with. And I jumped right into it and started volunteering. And couple of the things really got to my heart, and one of them was the Christmas program that the Salvation Army does, the auxiliary of which I'm a member, right now holding down 3 hats. I'm the co-chair of this year's Silver Tea, and I'm also handling the publicity and also membership. So that's quite a bit of time, but I've got the energy, and basically that's what we're looking for, is women that have the time, want to share with the community, and want to jump in and work with the rest of us. And we've done some pretty remarkable things. This year we are now celebrating our 51st year. We started in 1966, and
Which part started in 1966?
The auxiliary,
Okay.
Salvation Auxiliary came in 1966, and these women have just worked closely with the Salvation Army in all of their programs, wherever they were needed. And we do everything from bell ringing to scholarships for summer camp, and we work with all of it. And our main fundraiser is our Silver Tea, so we put a lot of effort into that.
What's the date for that Silver Tea?
May the 12th. It's always the day before Mother's Day, and it started as a beautiful, elegant tea that was done on a smaller scale. In the last 3 years, we've challenged ourselves to bring it up to an event that is pretty close to what you would receive if you went to the Empress Hotel in Victoria. It's a full high tea, and ladies are brought in and they enjoy 2 hours of just elegance, and we have organizations that have jumped in to help us. Organizations like Costco, who gives us all of that luscious salmon spread and all the lovely cookies that they can give us. And the ladies are treated to a wonderful afternoon of not only the eating, but we also give them entertainment. And then we have a wonderful silent auction. Again, our community has jumped in. We have just a couple of our sponsors. Panowitz has come in. We also have restaurants like the River's Edge, Bldg Cafe, who have been very, very generous to us. So we're very grateful for what we've been able to do, and I think the ladies are the ones that come and attend. They remember it the following year.
And it sounds like the women that you're celebrating in this program
we
definitely deserving of that.
Yes, and I don't think that I've lived in this community for over 40 years, and I don't and cannot remember a event that just does this for women, where we can just enjoy each other's company and be treated to elegance. And
all of the money that is raised goes to specific programs, like Julie mentioned, camper scholarships to send community kids to summer camp. Money raised from the Silver Tea also helps clothe kids for back to school, help with back to school supplies, different needs.
That's a kick for us too, because we literally are allowed to take a child and go shopping with them.
Good.
So that's another thing that just warms our heart. You know, it's the other thing that I tell folks is that we only expect 1 hour a month from all of our volunteers, members. And it's 1 hour a month, and the summer is yours. And you get to pick and choose the project that you want to work on.
So it sounds like there's a lot more than simply bell ringing, and we're going to get to all of the great programs that the Salvation Army has. But I also want to talk to Judy here. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your role as a historian? How long have you been with the Salvation Army?
Well, truthfully, I grew up in the Salvation Army. I'm from Chicago. And during the time that I was born in Mexico, by the way, but my family moved into Chicago, and when we moved from the Latino neighborhood to where we, if you know Chicago, Chicago's in this, divided into sort of an ethnic group. You have your Jewish neighborhood, your Italian neighborhood, and so forth and so on. So we moved into an Italian neighborhood first. And at that time, I was in a hospital with diphtheria. In between times, my family had moved from one area to another. And at that time, too, the Salvation Army used to have open-air services where they would take their band and go to the neighborhood and play and so forth. Well, evidently, they had come into our neighborhood, and my father happened to see them because we had moved away from where our church had been, which was a Methodist church. Surprisingly, you know, all Mexicans are not Catholics. So my father said, well, we do need a church, so he told my brothers to go follow them and see where they were going, and that's how we joined the Salvation Army. Anyway, I married a local boy here, and he belonged to another church, and so I never did go back into the Salvation Army until much later. But the auxiliary is composed of women who are not members of the church, but they're from out throughout the county, and who believe in the policies and would like to donate their time and their energy to help and do as much as they can to volunteer in the Salvation Army. So this is where I have become involved, and I was asked to join, and so I have enjoyed and thoroughly enjoyed it. So as they had mentioned, we also have this giving tree on the mall. If you notice, there is a Christmas tree there, and we have tags hanging down with their child's name and gifts that they had mentioned they would like to get. And then we also have, besides the, we have the bake sale, of course. When the women's ministry and the Salvation Army have their bazaar, their winter sale, you might say.
Holiday bazaar.
We do have a cake sale, a bake sale, you might say. We get very involved. We only have, our meetings are one day a month, as Julie said, but come the middle of November and up until January, we are busy with that's when our busy season starts. So we do need people with energy and who are willing to give their time, because it does take time and effort, and it's something that you will enjoy, and it does make you feel good.
That's when we jump in and we help the Salvation Army with their Christmas program. And one of the biggest ones that they have is the Adopt-A-Family. And that brings in, how many families do you know how many we did this year?
We did, I believe it was 75 Adopt-A-Families, but in all we helped over 500 families, individual
for Christmas.
families.
And we as volunteers come in and help with all of that. It means packaging, it means loading up the packages, it means helping to get the participants that are going to receive these gifts through the lines and make them feel comfortable, and we just have a good time. It's and it makes Christmas for me, and I know for all the others. It does. It really does.
You know, it does start with this motorcycle that comes in the first Saturday in the month.
The toy
in
run.
December, the toy run.
The toy run.
And that's where all these enormous gifts that come, you know, in the truck, and then we help package them. Well, we really don't package them, because when the people come in to bring to pick out the presents for the kids, they have to not be wrapped, so that way the parents can see what the gifts are, and that way they can choose what the kids would like to have.
So there's, so for our viewers who may not be aware of the structure of the Salvation Army, there's the church and then there's the auxiliary, is that correct?
Yes, the auxiliary is part of the Salvation Army, but it's another part, a group that help raise funds for specific programs and volunteering, like all of the programs they listed.
We do ask them for a list of needs. So they do go to the shelter, see what the shelter needs. We support the shelter. We support whatever they need.
Yeah.
So
And
we do raise the money for that.
those supports come in different ways too. For instance, one year the Salvation Army needed cameras for around the building where the people stay. So we had the money, and so we put those in. One year there was a need for a generator to keep the electricity going. The auxiliary also helped with that. So it's a partnership. It's a true partnership.
We've purchased commercial dishwashers, ice machines, beddings, whatever you can think of, because a lot of, especially towels and that, sometimes they do need to be replaced. And the same thing with all the bedding. So it's a constant thing that we do need to see, try to help out where the needs are, you might say.
And people are always thinking, well, I just thought you rang the bell. But over and above all of that, we still ring the bell. Yeah, and we have fun at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share with us some of the challenges facing the Salvation Army and the auxiliary?
The Salvation Army here in Olympia is experiencing more and more needs in the community, and we are always trying to find more resources, whether it's people to volunteer their time, people to donate money, things like that.
So how might a community member get involved?
They can call our main number or go to our website, or we're even on Facebook. They can find us that way. If they want to volunteer their time, if they just want to contact us, and we can give them kind of a list of things that they might like to help with.
What's that phone number and that website?
The website is just the Salvation Army Olympia, and just search for that on Facebook as well. And then I believe our main number is up on the screen. People can even come if they are interested in getting a tour of our facilities and see more up close the kinds of things that we do and the way that they might be able to help. We're certainly happy to have them come and tour the facilities.
The Salvation Army truly is a community thing. They have an advisory board. The advisory members are community people that are not members of the church, specifically so they can help the Salvation Army and showing them or helping them in every way possible so that they are accountable to the people, to the community, and to anyone else who contributes. So when you do contribute to money, the money does stay within Thurston County. So except if you do put in your donation and your check, whatever, that is supposed to go to a specific area for typhoons or hurricanes or whatever the stuff that comes up, that the money does go there. And I think you'll find out that most of the money that is donated, there's a very small percentage that is kept for office or whatever.
Administration, yeah.
And as we know, that's a necessary part of running a nonprofit, is that
Absolutely.
administrative cost.
I would love to hear from folks, and I have put my number out there as well, because I'm looking for ladies who think they might like to be a part of an organization like ours, and we would love to have them come to a meeting and just sit through a meeting to see if maybe this is something they might want to continue.
When do those meetings take place?
They're always on the second Monday of the month, and we tell folks that we always have, of course, eats. And so they can come as early as what?
9:30.
9:30. And we
Meeting
started
starts
at 10, and then we're out of there by 11. And so, it's a small amount of time for, a big reason to be in the community.
But you meet good people, nice people.
Yeah, and you have, I'm just amazed at, as we sit around the table, you can actually see, now she is great at publicity. she looks like she is great, because just by talking and getting into conversation, you get a feel for, well, I'm in here because I like, the idea of setting a beautiful table for the silver tea, or I love the idea of maybe helping with the treasury, or, we allow folks to find their niche and then go for it.
And it sounds like the auxiliary has given the opportunity for women to develop some leadership skills and that sort of thing within the organization.
Well, we're going to look at revamping how we've done that type of role. So yeah, we're going to amp just like we amped up our tea from just cookies and tea to this now next step where we have this wonderful afternoon for ladies. Yeah, a lot of our other types of training and what we'll offer our folks are things that we're going to be working on and talking about.
Is there any other history or fun facts about the organization that you want to share that might be especially fascinating to our audience?
I think you'll enjoy meeting a group of nice women that enjoy the afternoon, that enjoy helping out, and the silver tea that comes up, you will have an enjoyable afternoon. That's a good way to spend an afternoon.
It really is.
It really is. It's a fun afternoon.
Okay.
One more thing about the Salvation Army as a whole that some people don't know is, again, like I said, we are a church, and we do have church services at our worship center on 4th and Central, where the Women's Auxiliary meets as well. Every Sunday we preach the gospel there, and we hold weekly programs there as well.
Great. Thank you.
And the time for the silver teas, I think, is at 2 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
It's May the 12th, the day before Mother's Day. We will have a flyer up, as I understand, so that people know who to contact. And the cost is, we have to have a ticket, so there will be tickets available at $20. And that's very, very small amount for what you're going to be getting, because we really put all this, we just have done it over the top.
And it is a donation, too.
Yeah.
And what time does that take place?
Starts at 2 and we end at 4.
Okay.
Okay.
So 2 to 4, May 12th.
Right.
Okay.
This year we are featuring Chris Anderson. And Chris Anderson is a singer, unbelievable singer. He sings, I tell folks, Sinatra Bldg. Does that make it inviting? He's a young man who's going places. And then this year we've got an exciting group, Melodies in Motion, and they are a senior group of ladies that are going to do Broadway music, and they are dancers.
Local dancers.
Local dancers, and they are also going to be up and coming bigger stars. But we make sure that our folks, the people that attend, are very well entertained. So, and then of course we have that wonderful silent auction. All of the money goes right back into our community.
Fantastic. Well, I just want to thank you all for coming and sharing the great work that you're doing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
much.
for having us.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
That's all we have for you. You can see Mission Nonprofit on Channel 77 on Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., and Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us online at tcmedia.org. See you next time.